Hey everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to another segment of Ask Jane. I have a really good question for you this week. Our question comes from Sonia, and she is asking how to deal with her toxic mother in law. This is such great timing because I wrote a blog on Monday about how to deal with toxic relatives during the holidays. So let's get to her question. This is a perfect example of how the model always works. And so it'll be fun to plug her situation into the model and show you how that works for you too. So Sonia says, I'm hoping you can help me, Jane. Every year when Christmas comes around, my very judgmental mother-in-law comes to stay with us. She's very condescending and blatantly rude. She's also very critical of our children. Her daughter's family lives near her and has the perfect family. They're all very successful, and she clearly favors them because all we hear about is how wonderful they are. She has never liked me because she really wanted my husband to marry someone else. But it's been so many years, I would think by now she would be over it, but not so. I'm dreading her passive aggressive comments and I wish she wouldn't come. I don't understand why she wants to be here in the first place. I think she just comes because we're the only option. Her daughter's family is going to her husband's family's cabin this year, so we're the leftovers. This is a source of contention with my husband because I feel like he's in denial and won't acknowledge that she's a problem. I know she's his mother and I want to be respectful of that. But how do I handle this? Are we all just supposed to grin and bear her nastiness? I want to enjoy our holidays, but every time I think about being around her, I get physically sick. I'm already dreading Christmas and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. Okay, Sonia, thank you so much for your question, first off, because I think so many of us have issues where we have personality differences or we have struggles with other people. It's something a lot of people struggle with, and especially with our in laws, we find personality differences difficult and it can really become a wedge between ourselves and our spouses. So it's so important that we understand that your mother in law is a circumstance. Circumstances are things outside of our control. It's other people, it's the things other people do, it's the things other people say. Anything beyond our control is a circumstance. So she's a circumstance for you. So many of us believe that our circumstances, something out here, creates our feelings. And I know that this is true for you because you think that her coming for Christmas makes you feel sick, but it's always our thoughts that create our feelings. So you have a lot of thoughts about your mother-in-law, as we all do. This is totally normal. So you just know you have a normal brain, but I'm going to take a second and point some of them out to you. I think it'll be helpful. So let me read these back to you. She's condescending and blatantly rude. She favors her daughter's family. She's never liked me. She's passive aggressive. We are the leftovers. Lots of painful thoughts here about your mother-in-law. So I don't know your mother-in-law at all, but when I read your thoughts, it's easy to see why you're feeling sick. Like, I don't like her either. She's probably lovely, but reading your thoughts make me feel icky, right? So let's take a look at your model and I'll show you what's happening for you here, okay? So up here in the circumstance line is your mother-in-law. Okay, we can put her name there if you want to, that's fine. Your thought about her, and I think that this is the painful thought for you. I think if you could trace it back and after, of all the thoughts that you presented to me, I think this one is the most painful, that she's never liked me. You have the thought, she's never liked me. When you have the thoughts that someone doesn't like you, how do we feel? Most often we get defensive. We're like, well, they should like me. Why don't they like me? And then we think of all the reasons why there's something wrong with them for not liking us, right? When we feel defensive, our action line looks like this. We become a little bit on guard. We're not as friendly or open. We don't engage with her. We're not trying to get to know her better. We're not trying to connect with her, right? We're not trying to desire to know her better. We're on the lookout for snide comments. So we're watching, our brains are like looking for evidence that this is true, that she's really a toxic person. We're trying to support our thought that she doesn't like me, because that's your thought. This is how you feel. This is how you act when you feel defensive. You think your mother-in-law makes you feel defensive, but it's your thought that she's never liked me that makes you feel defensive. And then this is how you engage. And what that creates for you is a result that you haven't ever liked her and you probably will never like her because you've always had this thought in your head, right? So, as with all of our circumstances, our thoughts about them, they're a choice, they're always optional. So, we have to take a peek at this thought and really question it. And and then maybe even we ask ourselves, so what if she hasn't ever liked you? Now what? Okay, it doesn't sound like you've liked her either. So you guys have a lot in common there. Maybe you've been judging each other back and forth. You believe that she has never liked you, but your brain is just telling you that like it's the news. Maybe it's not true. What if she has liked you, but you felt defensive from the beginning? And so you've created this energy and this action line that tells her that you don't like her. And so you guys are kind of playing this mirroring situation back and forth. So having your mother-in-law come is actually the perfect situation for you to practice managing your own emotional health. How can you enjoy your holiday, even if you're in the company of someone who doesn't like you or someone that you don't like? And also really entertain the thought, what if I'm wrong? Is it possible that she just feels rejected and judged by me? And that's why she behaves this way? How do you want to view yourself? Do you want to be someone who lives at the effect of her mother in law? Or do you want to allow her to be and do and say whatever she wants? And then you get to show up and be however you want. You get to think the thoughts that you choose intentionally about her. I like to get really curious about other people and just be fascinated by their behavior. Like, it's so entertaining, right? Why do they behave that way? Just get really curious. What in the world would make someone say something like that? Just if you can separate yourself from it and not make it all mean everything about you, you'll find some traction there. So you have the thought that she wanted your husband to marry someone else and that she should be over that by now. But do you see that you're not over it either? Like you clearly hang on to that thought that she wanted her husband to marry someone else. So I hope you can see that you're giving so much power to her. You're giving her all the power to control your experience of Christmas. And your brain is convinced that if she's there, then it's not going to be enjoyable. But you're wrong. And that's good news because you can feel whatever you want by controlling the thoughts that you think. So I've given you a lot to think about here. I hope it's helpful. Take some time to really think it through and consider the holiday that you want to create for yourself. And maybe this is an opportunity to really look at your relationship with your mother-in-law and ask yourself, how am I responsible? What part have I played in this situation where we don't enjoy each other? And what can I do to change it? I think that'll be really helpful for you. As always, you guys, if you want some personal help from me, why haven't you booked a free consult with me? It's the best. I love talking to you. I love helping you pick through those situations in your life that are difficult. I have one spot left for November, and then I've got a wait list for December. So if you're interested in some one-on-one coaching, book a call with me and let's talk about it and see how we can get you some help. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care and talk to you next week.